So it's a little bit late at night and I was doom scrolling. And I came across a post on Facebook on one of the pressure washing groups. The post was about quoting a pressure washing service, or actually a soft washing service, for a commercial property. The poster said that it was going to be about 7,500 square feet and he priced them $750. Now, he put a picture of the property on the post and also stated that he lives in South Mississippi. So I decided to break out the detective hat, jump on Google, and see if I could find this property to help him quote it in the way that I would. All right, here's the original post. And from the image here, we can see that it says Ondale Circle somewhere here. And then again, he's in South Mississippi. So when I jump onto Google, I'm going to type Ondale Circle and South Mississippi townhomes. And you can already see that I did some of this already. I type that in and then I get over here, Avondale Circle. So Google's already filling it in for me and I'm gonna try to go with that. So I click on that and these are the apartments that I see on apartments.com. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that address into Google as well. And then I'm going to go to the map. When I go to the map, I see that there's a Avondale Circle here. I'm gonna click on this little guy, right over here in the corner. And I'm gonna drag him right at the entrance, right about there. I'm gonna swing it around and boom. So we know that this is the property that he is looking to have help quoting on. So I'm going to go ahead and do the process that I normally do for quoting. And I'm going to show you how a company that's been doing this for about 7 years is quoting a commercial property. First, I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to take a look at the property here. So he's at 7,000 square feet. So I'm imagining he's talking about these two buildings right here. And hopefully he's giving them a quote for their roof because it looks like the roof needs it as well. I am going to start here by right clicking and hitting the measure distance button. Then I'm going to click another corner, and another corner, and then close the circle. And this is going to give me a perimeter. So this is the perimeter of the property. It's measuring about 431 linear feet around the perimeter. Now, these are two-story properties. So we're going to take 430 and we're going to multiply it by 20. 430 times 20 comes to 8,600 square feet of surface that we're going to be cleaning. Or you can measure it at 430 linear feet on a two-story building, and that would give you an approximate calculation. I don't know if he's doing the second property, but he said about 7,500 square feet. They may actually be giving him those measurements because when realtors or property managers give square footage, they're talking about the interior living space of the property. So a house that's 2 stories is going to have, or even a house that's 1 story, is going to have a different square footage than the footprint of the actual house. So the interior square footage has to do with any rooms, bedrooms, things like that. It may exclude things like closets, bathrooms, garages, and interior walls. All of those things are completely excluded. So the square footage of the real estate property or something that a property manager might give you is typically going to be different than what the square footage of the actual footprint of the property is. So that's something to take into consideration. So let's assume that he's only doing this one right here. And we'll get that calculation first. Let's go back. Let's click on it. And I measure things in linear square footage, and then I do a 1-story multiplier and a 2-story multiplier. So we're at 438 square feet. I typically round up to the nearest 50. So let's call it 450 square feet. From there, I multiply it times my multiplier on a 2-story building. I charge $2 per linear foot. That comes to about $900 to soft wash the siding of this property. What does that include? First, I'm going to require that the apartment complex communicate with all the homeowners and put something on their door to let them know that we're going to be coming by and cleaning on this date. Typically, I'll provide something like that. I require that everybody gets a notice that we're going to be doing cleaning, and that notice tells the customer what we're doing, what services that we're going to be performing, the types of chemicals that we're going to be using, because I want to know if somebody's allergic to any of the chemicals that we're using or if there's going to be any concerns that I need to know about. 3, make sure that they have their windows and doors closed during that time. 4, they are limiting traffic in and out of the property while we're doing the work. 5, making sure that they're not communicating with the technicians while they're working. If you start doing a lot of commercial property, people will come up to you and ask you a whole bunch of questions, and it's usually not good for the technicians to break that workflow. Only come up to us if it's an emergency or if you need to get by, things like that. Otherwise, we're going to have somebody looking out and making sure that the coast is clear and that we're being mindful of people in their property. And the last thing is to move the property indoors or cover anything that they don't want to have the treatment sprayed on. So we put that responsibility on the customer, or actually we put it on the apartment complex, and then they in turn put it on the residents. So they're required to cover any kind of gardens they may have or patio furniture, move some of those things inside, clear those areas so we have a clear path to walk all the way around. If the apartment complex wants you to take care of those things, make sure that you're charging accordingly for that extra service, and make sure that your insurance is going to cover that, because there have been examples where I've moved flower pots that had been imported from Italy, and if they broke, that would be a very expensive fix and could negate the entire profit from the job. So make sure you have it in writing what the liability is and what it is not, what's included as the responsibility of the apartment complex, what's included as the responsibility of the tenants. Make sure all of that is in the quote, and make sure that the apartment complex is communicating that to the tenants. So on this property right here, he quoted it at $750. I don't think that that's a crazy quote for Mississippi. Considering the cost of living in comparison to where I am in Washington, Washington's much more expensive. So $9 makes a lot more sense. At $750, I think this is a great price. And I think it's really great if he's doing this to land this deal. I would also try to sell the secondary building. I think this one measured at 500 square feet. You could tack that on for another $1,000, and you might even want to consider offering a roof soft wash. If these pictures are up to date in any way, then they're going to want their roof soft washed as well to get rid of all these stripes and that gloeocapsomagma that's on the roof. I would also talk to them about doing a biannual refresh as well. Maybe give them a discount if they sign a 5-year contract to have 3 cleanings done. That's definitely an option, and that brings your company more value. Doing something at giving them $100 off, so instead of charging $750, maybe charging them $650, but having 3 cleanings done over the next 5 years, that makes your company more valuable. So you want to think in a 5-year term when you're talking about commercial cleaning, instead of just getting the property done once and then that's it. Either way, great job on the bid. I'm really happy that you got the work. I think you're pretty spot on and you have a bright future ahead of you. Thanks for watching. Comment below, what would you have charged for this property? Would you have tried to go for the upsell on the roof cleaning? Did you feel like he charged too high or too low? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content like this, and keep washing. Later.